Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Consensus Senate President, House Speaker likely today. Avoid eating pomo, suya. Others, federal government cautions Nigerians. NDIC Act has 35 doctor clauses, chairman claims. Exchange rate unification to happen within quarters, says Edu. New law gives indigent students access to loans. On Democracy Day, President reviews guards at Villa, MKO's running mate, activists, state governors mark day in FCT. Okay, which story?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday, yesterday in Abuja, signed the student loan bill into law. The signing of the bill was a fulfillment of one of his campaign promises to liberalize funding of education. This was said by a member of the Presidential Strategic Team, Dele Alake. And they said it's the second piece of legislation signed since he assumed office 2 weeks ago. The bill will enable indigent students to access loans at interest-free rates. So they said it was sponsored by the Speaker of the 9th House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, passed the third reading at the House May 25th, 2023. And finally now it has been signed. And, you know, it came up, a lot of controversies came up and people were for and against. And some of the things that was mentioned, I think ASU had spoken up about it. I want to get the details of what they had said. So they said the first one is that it separates the poor from the rich, that the bill seems to be discriminatory. And they're saying that for you to be able to access the bill, first of all, you have to be an indigent of, you know, the particular state, and then your parents should not be earning more than 500,000 naira annually. Okay. So that qualifies you. So once your parents are earning more than 500,000 yearly, you're not able to access it. So that is discriminatory, separates the poor from the rich. Now, secondly, they also mentioned that the bill says that you would have to pay back, that the students who had gotten the loan would have to pay back after 2 years from NYSC. What's the guarantee that the students will have a job 2 years after NYSC? So there are some of these things that we need to present and, you know, really talk about it before we are jubilating. But some students are saying that they're excited about this. This means that nobody would have an excuse not to go to school because there's no money to pay the fees. So I think we have to really look at it.
It's a conversation worth having.
Yeah.
Because they're both sides.
Yeah,
good.
Both sides.
I mean, there are the pros and cons for it, but it's a good conversation to have. I was going to take the story about the exchange rate. So the one of the defunct member of the Presidential Transition Council, PTC, that's Mr. Wale Edun, was speaking to Bloomberg yesterday, where he said that he was talking about the unification of the various exchange rates. According to him, it's imminent. It will happen in the next few quarters, definitely less than a year. He was saying that currently, because we currently have several exchange rates from either the investors and exporters, as I&E Forex window, the parallel rate, the International Air Transport Association rate, the interbank exchange rate, and the bureau de change. So many rates, but it must be unified, according to what the president had actually hinted also during his inaugural speech. He said that they also have plans to review some of the policies initiated by the CBN governor, and that there was, pretty much that was what he was saying. We're excited, many Nigerians are excited about the unified rate because it was really important. People are always having issues with, there's one rate in the bank, there's another rate for bureau de change, and another rate for different groups of people. It's important for us to have one, and the president did mention that at some point we'll have a unified rate, but when, we're not sure, but he said in the next few quarters we should have that done. That will definitely mean a lot for business people and those important.
But how is that possible? You know, the black market...
It will just mean that some people will not be making money
anymore. Yes. And how
it's blocking a major loophole. Many people are profiting from this.
So they get it cheap from CBN. Yes. So
and it's unfair. Some businesses have advantage of using the official rates to access importation. And other businesses in the same area cannot compete because they don't have access to the same thing.
Does the CBN have enough forex for everybody?
No, that's why you should make it uniform so that it will be, you almost be a market value.
People will not be able to access. They will still need the black market.
They're going to stop there. We'll see how that goes.
But if you make it
black market is
the same as the CBN.
CBN is the official rate, gives you the official rate, but not everybody can access the business. And so when your goods, you're not able to bring in your goods, you seek the black market so that you can get your goods and do your business. Or else, a lot of businesses will leave importation. So they will crumble.
As it's not a hot
because we don't have enough
what they're trying
forex.
to do is get people to actually get banks, get their forex from the banks exclusively. How's it going to happen? We don't know yet. But they hope we have going to change money. You go to the bank.
They don't have, they
The
don't
banks
have
will
enough.
not have. But if it is uniform, if the same
Uniform
price...
within the bank, even. Within the banking structure now, there is a difference.
It's not our hot topic.
Yes.
Okay,
We'll discuss it another day.
We'll get somebody else and an expert to come and give us shed more
light. Please, I
on
want to
it.
take the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, is on a warpath with the NNPCL, saying that there's a 2.1 trillion deduction that they denied the Federal Account Allocation Committee ability to have access to this money. 2.1 trillion naira from January to March of 2023. They have accused the NNPCL of withholding those amounts of money, said that the deductions that were made, there is a balance. So there's an official money that should have been balanced, sent back to the FAC account. But the NNPCL is saying that according to the Petroleum Industry Act, it doesn't permit them to do so, and that the details of the net off are contained in the FAC postmortem report. Anyway, the NNPCL has to give account for how that money would come back to FAC. FAC is saying they need the money so that they can distribute, because that's what the Federal Allocation Accounts Committee does. They distribute money to the different arms of government. Another question that they've raised to the NNPCL is to explain why they have different exchange rates that is even below the CBN exchange rates they have on domestic crude sale. So the FIRS PSC crude, the NUPRC royalty crude sale for the period of January 2015 to December 2022 was being sold at a lower rate as compared to the CBN official rate, and there's a shortfall of 195 billion established within that period. So there are many controversies, and we're looking forward to the fact that with the new government, people will look into it and we get answers.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, thanks for staying with us. We're going to continue with the punch. National Assembly, APC anointed candidates rebel to slug it out today. Tinubu governors urge Nigerians to defend democracy. Customs seized over 100 smuggled SUVs. Rogue cops extort 153,000 naira from undergraduate. CP removes DPO. PDP, Buhari's years of low-cost wrecked oil sector Cisco Kori. Family demands presidential entitlements for Abiola. ASUB expressed doubts over student loan. Okay, which story?
I wanted to check the rogue cops that extorted 153,000 naira from an undergraduate of Cyprus University, Mr. Emmanuel Nnawibe. He was driving along the road, and when he got under the bridge at Ojota, they flagged him down. He stopped. They checked his particulars, everything was okay. Then they said he should bring his phone. They didn't find anything incriminating on his phone, but they had opened his bank app and saw that he had 2 million in the bank app. So they drove him to another place, and they said, oh yeah, you should transfer the money. So he started pleading with them that it's not my money. You can't just take the money. Anyway, they ended up taking 153,000. So he went to go and report to the police. He went. They caught him at 3:30. He transferred the money at 4:30. So he went to.
What state was his YK?
Here, Lagos State. The Lagos State Police Command. He went to go and report. So those ones went to the station. He identified the policemen. They have arrested them. They are now undergoing orderly trial.
Okay.
They'll be doing a lot of that.
And the CP now suspended the DPO.
Wow, that's
okay.
good.
Progress. So the family of late MKO Abiola have requested that the president, the current president, should provide the entitlements of presidential entitlements to the family. And this was said by one of his children, Amin. He made the call while speaking to newsmen during the prayer session conducted at the family house in Ogun State. He was speaking with journalists, called on the current president to pay the family presidential entitlements due to the Abiola family. If you recall, back in 2018, former President Muhammad Buhari had given the honor of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic to the late president at the time, and his family is now requesting that they should also give them the rightful entitlements that is due to that office to the family.
So the Nigerian Customs Service on Monday yesterday announced that it intercepted over 100 exotic vehicles, including various models of sports utility vehicles, SUV, and they said that 38 of them have been forfeited to the federal government. And they are calling on stakeholders to synergize with officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service to effectively suppress the menacing smuggling struggles, smuggling of vehicles into Nigeria. So according to the Deputy Controller Customs, who also doubles as the Coordinator Rapid Response Squad Headquarters, Jacob Mabi, he said this in Abuja, and he said that the vehicles were intercepted in the recent operations by the NCS, and they had over 100 Toyota Hilux, Toyota Land Cruiser, and other models of vehicles, which they had tried to, intercept so that they would save Nigeria from losing huge revenue, which would have gone down the drain. And he said they have over 38 being given to the federal government. And this recovery will lead to them getting over 400 million naira from the demand notices. And so they were wondering why people are still patronizing smugglers, saying that anybody who is found culpable will be severely punished.
So I read the interview by the former General Secretary of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Chief Frank Kokori, as he relieves the struggle of June 12, 1993's presidential election, that was won by Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, but annulled by the erstwhile President Babangida. And he spoke about the struggle. He spoke about the fact that he's happy that the current president, Tinubu, was someone that was in the struggle, that June 12 right now has a different meaning for him because someone who knew about the journey then is now the president of the country. He spoke about how the first 10 years after June 12, he used to go and lay wreaths at MK Abiola and Kudirat Abiola's graves, and that the years of the struggle were terrible, how he spent 4 years being locked up in Bama prison in Borno State in solitary confinement, suffering, and that they never really acknowledged, people haven't really acknowledged what Nupeng did for democracy during that period because they acted as a way to stall any action within that period, and they were acting like he used freedom fighters for Nigeria, but he's happier now. He also spoke negatively about the last administration, that Buhari's administration and PDP's administration in the past years have wreaked havoc within the oil sector, but he's seeing hope for Nigeria right now.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun very quickly. 10th National Assembly Battle Day for Kalu, Akpabio, Yari, and Abbas. Sirika lied about our fleet size. Dubai operations says, air peace. Why federal government is after us, says IPOB. Imo PDP planning protests in Abuja over insecurity, says government. Democracy Day, Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Kinjibe, Okpadokun, Udumaki, others charge Nigerians with democracy sustainers. Okay, which story are we doing in Daily Sun?
The management of Air Peace denied claims by the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, that 2 of his Boeing 777 aircraft leased for a monthly fee of $250,000 were parked for several months, leading to his incurring over 90 million loss. And so, reacting to the interview, the minister granted at the national television, Chief Operating Officer of the airline, Toyin Olajide, now said it's a blatant lie, saying that Air Peace has 3 and not 2 Boeing 777 aircraft, and they never leased or rented it. They bought it outrightly by the airline. That can be verified. He also said that because the minister had said that they stopped taking Dubai routes, going to Dubai because they lacked capacity, and they said they cannot lack capacity. They have everything, and one of the reasons they stopped taking Dubai routes is the fact that Dubai had stopped giving visa to Nigerians, which we are all aware, for a very long time, and so it wasn't profitable when they are not able to access it, and not because they lack capacity. They went ahead to mention all the things that they have over. I'm trying to get that now. It's not here. Okay, said they have different aircrafts. I can't get the details here, but they have the capacity to do it, and that's a lie.
All right.
So there's a story within inside the Sun, and it is a really, really touching story, speaking about the rape and of underaged children at the IDP camps in Benue State. Horrible dehumanizing conditions that these people have to live with, all forms of sexual abuse being meted out to people. They said after the investigation came out, the State Child's Rights Implementation Committee of Benue, and supported by the Sexual Offenders Awareness Response Initiative, started sensitizing, visiting some of the identified communities of IDP, and they are providing support to them. The NGO is carrying intervention in 3 local governments of Benue State, and the committees are seeing the challenges they are going through. A teenager, they did not mention the teenager's real name, was raped and impregnated while living in the camp. She's one of those that escaped from the villages where herdsmen, militia attacked in 2018. And the camp, she's now living with her children. She was also raped, and now she has a child. Ew. And she's still a teenager. And there are several cases like that. I know that they are trying to carry out a lot of intervention, but when I read this story, it's really touching that people would suffer. They've been displaced. They are now in camps, and they are still being dehumanized and being raped in those places again. We really need to help these people, and it will fall in the hands of our leaders to penalize those that are caught, no matter who they are.
Vanguard. Inauguration power show as 10th National Assembly gets underway today. Tinubu signs students' loan bill into law. Subsidy, Nigerians groaning, NBA tells Tinubu. Uneasy calm in police over successor to IGP Baba. Subsidy, NUT parents' fault reduction in school days. Can to Nigerians learn from 1993 election to build true democracy. Ill health, Ondo Deputy Governor battles Ekoredolu over transfer of power. Anthrax, stop eating pomo, bushmeat, FG tells federal government, Nigerians. June 12, Abiola was forerunner to entrench democracy tenets in Nigeria. And petrol, marketers struggle to raise capital for new supplies. Who has this Pomo story?
I have the Pomo story, but I took it in Tribune. I can...
Might not get to
tell us here.
So let me... it's a... There is this disease called Anthrax, and it affects animals. And let me bring it out.
It's not Anthrax that was in the US, that was in an envelope or something.
No, but this is a different Anthrax. This is Anthrax, because that's what I thought as well when I was hearing Anthrax. But when I read the stories, it's a bacterial disease, and it affects animals, and it can be transferred to human beings when you eat the meat.
Hide
so the hide, the pomo, and all that. And you know, the smoked suya. I think like
bushmeat as well.
Kilishi, bushmeat. So that we should stop eating it, that they have it in the northern parts of Togo, Ghana, and one other country. So it might
come in here.
So we should just for now stop eating that. You have flu-like signs, symptoms, cough, fever, muscle aches, and if it's not diagnosed and treated early, leads to pneumonia, severe lung problems, difficulty in breathing, and shock and death.
Oh, wow.
So that's why.
Nima, please, I know you're at home watching. No bushmeat for your egusi soup for now.
Don't we all eat pomo at home?
I don't eat. I haven't eaten pomo.
I like pomo.
I don't like pomo, but my husband
I stopped it.
Yeah, I don't even eat.
I don't like pomo.
I've even stopped
with the first news with that tire, using tires to roast it, I stopped it.
I've never understood pomo. My husband loves it. Okay.
Burkina Faso.
I want to take the...
Almost time. We have to...
Yes, the police. There's an uneasy calm within the Nigerian police force because we all know that the IGP, Kali Baba, was meant to have retired as at February 2023. It was extended by the then President Buhari. But there's a fear that a lot of people felt that the next appointment will lead to many of them being retired. Now, the calmness is that on 19th of May 2023, the Justice has given a court order in Oka, Anambra State, that the new IGP must emerge from the AIGs or Deputy Inspector General of Police that still has 4 years in service, and those are the pre-qualification to be appointed into office. So there's this sort of calm that some people might not be losing their jobs. You know, whenever they appoint a new one, everybody that is higher than that new person's rank will be forced on a compulsory retirement. So we're waiting to see how the current president would lead concerning the new IG, who would be the new IGP.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review.